Alright, welcome again to more Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are going to go ahead and jump right in and get started. Let's begin. Twisted Karma and his last bow. Second November, 8:56 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendant's Antechamber. Is that old familiar feeling again? Crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? Not privy to the details. However, I understand that the jury has been selected. A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. Closed court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. Have you made note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? An outright victory for science, you must agree. Perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ha! What to one man is a little hair problem is to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. Good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so vim. Full of vim. And are you? See, London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. That would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. After all, behind this lawyer, there's a very great mind. My own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Oh. Gina? What's that on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Father, couldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. Decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. She'll be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Adele? Oh, yes, Gina? Would you agree to this, eh? Would you take him on? Huh? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it were him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper is just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Aye? At least, but maybe some solace. Deceased. Please, Otto. Get whoever did this for the boss. You know. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you've got to find who done this and make the rich pay. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Van Zieks. One who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, forced to collide headlong in this trial. Time to shine a light on all these dark events. Whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. Second November, 9:20 a.m. The Old Bailey, Portugal. There's no jury.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant, Baron Van Zieks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin?
The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, cousin was mine. Wishing to see what again for so long, it feels... I pictured it happening like this. I thought he'd facing me behind the prosecution's bench.
The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge.
In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Grigson's murder.
The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions to the judiciary. Accordingly, they ought to be conducted as a closed trial with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders.
How will that work, my lord?
The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the juror's bench shall remain vacant today.
No members of the public are present. Might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord?
They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial.
Members of the judiciary? My, this is a very unusual trial already.
There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain.
I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. As I stand here in this courtroom now, quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Some more?
Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please.
Certainly. The incident took place on 1st of November, just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street, on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered. Single rental property.
Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, name known very well indeed to this court. At least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago.
Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Jake told us too. A number of witnesses.
I have here a plan of the room.
The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from front at point-blank range and died instantly.
How has the range been determined?
There were scorch marks around the entryway. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, something happened when the target is at point-blank range.
I see. Yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel.
Autopsy report has been entered into the court record. Right, Inspector Gregson's autopsy.
The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm?
No, my lord, not conclusively. Bravo, Cousin sir. I'm not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven.
Furthermore, my lord,
as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim, struck the wall behind him. There's a candelabrum mounted on that wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right.
Thank you for the report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please.
As you wish, my lord. Crime scene.
Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode?
No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone. There is a precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. What on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other, when a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene. He found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the on the spot.
So the details of the case are clear.
In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness.
Name, please, Counsel.
Naturally. The accused himself. Lord Van Zieks? As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken, and will be compelled to tell the truth.
Very well, let the defendant take the witness stand. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court.
Belk Van Zieks, Old Billy Prosecutor.
I presume, Lord Van Zieks, that you heard Prosecutor Asagi's opening praises?
I did.
It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this?
Yes, my lord. But I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. Simply tell the truth.
I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, part of me has been dreading it. A formal testimony then, witness.
Testimony. Facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard the man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupants, and moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right. You haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words. Prosecutor Asogi.
It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word, it's laughable.
It's got into Kazuma. He's not behaving like himself at all.
Very well then. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Okay. The facts of the incident. Alright, let's do our usual pressing.
Hold it!
You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Sorry?
I've identified a distinct possibility. Rickson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. The court to understand, then, that on the day in question, you followed the victim to the scene?
No. I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office? In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense.
As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks?
I was aware of the possible consequences.
So, in summary, you were investigating the victim.
Yet, you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Did I ever think I could defend this man? I entered the room, it was dark inside, and I saw no one.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to the address before?
No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Rickson's activities.
There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m., the sun would only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was bolted shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure. Part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember, and there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started on towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard the gunshot, spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. So
Hold it!
This. So, who fired the gun?
I have no idea.
I didn't see anybody else in the room. You say it was very dark in there? Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is, I didn't sense another's presence. Then could it be that the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I could smell the gunpowder. Ugh, this is going from bad to worse. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. It was carelessness on my part.
Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands.
In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would really like to know that. As I picked the firearm to examine the door flew open and heard a man scream.
Hold it!
Okay. And you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street.
Who are these merchants?
A number of them had set up stalls beneath the boarded windows of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did. Almost gave me a heart attack in the process. Supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in immediately noticed the revolver in my hands. And he fled. Policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion, and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before
Hold
me.
it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but it's the truth. As far as it was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was. Did you hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson.
Most curious circumstances indeed.
How the inspector was killed or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Barak von Zieks, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean?
Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say?
In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct. No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabra. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact.
One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle.
The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length.
Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long.
We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all 3 candles together. Which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. That must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other 2 candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabra. And the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now to the next lie. There's more? The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included a number of reports from various historical cases. The oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago? This is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking all of the documents on that board.
Indeed. What is this common thread, Counsel?
They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barak van Zieks. All of them? And furthermore, all of those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted.
Good Lord!
Interestingly, none of these defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper.
Haha!
Oh no! In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout, and his base of operations. The Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper claimed never to have been to his own secret hideout. Was Gregson? Was Gregson the Reaper of the Bailey this whole time? Oh my. Oh my. No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards.
Backwards? Explain, Counsel.
Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. He discovered the location of the man's secret hideout. He was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. What?
Order! 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 Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barak van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Aswagi's contention. The defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts.
All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Hasm has done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case. It's formidable. It's almost like he presented evidence at a statement that was contradictory. Oh no, he knows how to play this video game.
Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed the court as evidence. I believe it to be a fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence.
Thank you, my lord. The notice board has been entered into the court record. And now, the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. I mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes. Street sellers who heard the gunshot running into the room.
Very well. Lead the witnesses in. The defendant may step down from the witness stand.
Certainly. He's got that smug energy. That's the coachman. So, Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy-footed like it was.
We're just free and easy. Tell what we like, live where we want to live.
I'll give them all vacant stares and walk down Fresno and spit a few words into a verse for them. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Everyone calls me Gossip. Sell jaunty little tidbits to passers by, you know.
Jaunty little tidbits?
Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your Guinness ways. 6 is the price, and not a penny less.
Yo, hello. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now?
Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested.
Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is.
Pay the man, counsel.
Right, alright. 6 it is.
You won't regret it, sir. Now got your listening ears on?
Just between us, a young couple on Slate Street just had twins. Is that it?
No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? Wants to spread. That bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 a piece it is, if you're curious.
I am curious, yes, but what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours? Ooh, that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. What about the next witness, then? What name do you go by, and what do you sell? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? Sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. 6 a pop. What do you say? We're exaggerating with little. They actually sell? Oh yeah, second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
They're not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Want to pop with 6 for a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. You get 100 of them, you blow up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman, counsel.
Right, buy one. Lovely stuff, right then. This is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus special. 600 pence. 600? It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey, either. Venus firecracker? Oh, no. You have it in the court record now? And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell?
Think of me. Think of all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street watching the word go on about me, they call me the observator. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you sandwich and you know it.
So, you don't actually sell any?
Problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no. Come to think of it.
Pity. More purchases today, please.
Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street, morning until night, but always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. Unless they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime.
Well, I'll be vivid, I thought. It's between us.
Mr. Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing to say.
But I think if all what we see is light and shadow playing with our eyes, is any of it real? Very, very well. But we'll hear the formal testimony of these 3 witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
Saw the whole thing from start to finish. We did everything from the moment they went in the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside and we all had a big bang.
It seems to me like quick to talk, is quick to walk. Guess I couldn't wait to go and see what had happened.
And into the room, and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death, mate. So I ran off to find a copper. These witnesses were they and saw everything. What did they see going inside the building?
Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, the accused, Barack Van Zieks. I've seen pictures of the Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. It's between us.
Love stories like these. I made myself a tardy some already. Wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No. Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witness.
Yes, my lord. Closed court without the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony somehow. Okay, cross-examination. His accounts. So first off, tell the whole thing.
Hold it!
Alright. When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson, the defendant, Lord Van Zieks?
I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty.
But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in, that's for sure and certain. Behind Inspector Gregson, did they arrive at the same time as each other?
No, not at all.
Most fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot. Tim arrived 15 minutes before. You sure about that?
Am I sure?
Does it seem likely that I'd forgotten a fellow with bright red hair like that, does it? Yeah, his hair really were red, wasn't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even.
That fiery mob's still burn on the inside of my lights, it is.
Wait a minute. Saying the man was a redhead? Weren't you listening, chum? Aye, he was a redhead. He had a big trunk with him as well. Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. And red hairpiece. Ah! Of course! We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece though. And why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
The photograph of the victim has been entered into the record. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene, so it just disappeared.
What, do you expect us to be watching the building every second, do you?
We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. Eh? You know what? Let's look at evidence real quick. We've gotten some new evidence. We've seen this, the wig, right? Saw the candelabra. We've looked at all that. The notice board. That's one that's probably worth looking at. Ah, what's this? Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh yes, a smudge of some kind. In fact, looks just like handprint. The color. It's blood, isn't it? How disturbing. There's a bloody handprint on it. Oh my. And what about this? There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago was browning with age. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting hair. Oh, it's the same redheaded league advertisement that Mr. Sholmes had picked out. Do you remember? There was a red hairpiece at the scene, too. Inspector Gregson, an exponent of the redheaded league, and... Look at the Venus firecracker. Is there anything worth examining on it? You see the thing at the end. Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? Staring at me with a string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Shall we find out? What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom. Alright. It was a fairly sizable bang. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like... It goes off like a gunshot. Interesting. Remember Van Zieks said that he heard a gunshot. This is the photograph of Gregson. Oh, poor Gregson. He was the best. Alright. Hold it! By which presumably you mean the gunshot? I saw these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it? You say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building? That's right, it was almost straight away. Bang, it went, just like that. Oh, he's the Reaper, isn't it? It's what the French call a fait accompli. Then the Reaper's around. People are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? I think we get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clearer motive for the crime.
Yes. Certainly an eminently credible motive.
Great. At that point, you ran inside, is that correct?
Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what happened.
I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find a copper. Okay, we got this. We gotta go back. So we got her. Sandwich is totally the... What was his name from, Can't look at characters anymore. He was the coachman from the previous whole game. It was the case with Magnus McGilden. Hold it! So when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too?
Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, see? All the signs of that I can't move very well.
You were way behind, presumably. That sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before? Good.
I'm not anybody, mate. The signs that make me who I am now. A sign, therefore I am.
So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago, then? Haha. Might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot.
Turn down, kicking him straight in the Black Widow's arms is just there.
Dear, you've made him hide behind his sign. Life is full of surprises.
Right into the room, and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
I was scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find a couple. Okay, wait, I'm doing it again. Skipping past. I can't find any holes in this testimony. I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, Mr. Naruhodo. Truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning. Fortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problems with their statements, do there? Still, Woodman's X really is innocent, and I'm almost certain find something in there that doesn't quite add. You don't think one of these three could be the true culprit? I don't know, but I do know is that there's more to this case than is yet to be brought to light. Okay.
Hold it!
And let's talk about it. So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right?
And I rolled, kicked the door open like a professional I did, and yelled out, "What's going on here?"
Van Zieks claims all he heard was a man scream, though. Was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Really?
There was a fella collapsed on the floor.
What do I notice? It's the first thing I noticed when I got inside. I see. No, Lord Van Zieks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall.
Next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body.
The accused, Barak Van Zieks.
That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself.
I was a little shocked, I won't deny it.
But I'm no lily-livered coward. Stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold, hard stare himself.
Uh-oh. Got something you want to say, don't you?
Excuse me!
You have something to add, Mr. Sandwich?
There's really nothing to me. In the head I am, just two slices with no middle. So I don't know what you want with me.
I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean.
Well, what I think is we're all nothings, really. Try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we were all just street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich. A Jill sandwich, you might say. When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it?
Oh, you rotten beggar. Keep that a secret. Screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Gossip, is this true?
The floor was dead slippery, that's why.
I did my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I?
Yuck.
What? A pool of blood?
But listen here, even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving that Reaper a cold, hard stare. Don't you forget it.
Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand?
Did you? Yeah, I happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? I was scared, so I slipped over. We can just keep it between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to add that information to your testimony. Oh, I must.
The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
I slipped over and got blood on my hands. Wiped it off on the floor.
Hold it!
Okay. You wiped your hand on the floor?
Well, who wants blood on his hand? Horrible stuff, and they might have thought I'd done it. Oh no, Tom.
You didn't think that might be a problem?
Does it really matter if we left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us. Something wrong, Counsel?
No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint. floor. That's all.
Don't come at me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off on the floor. The blood.
I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. And then you...
Hold it!
Talk to you. So you didn't run into the room with your friends?
I'm not that sort of girl.
Sorry?
I'm a timid little thing, me.
I was too scared to go in there. Ah, right. Let's see.
Old Lippy and the witch ran in there, and then I heard a sort of old lady scream. Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd stake my honor on it.
I wondered what on earth was going on. Which is when you went to find a policeman. And I ran into a copper as soon as I turned the corner. So I brought him straight back to the place. Didn't I do well, eh?
I noticed that copper's eyes nearly out of his head when he saw the Reaper. Never felt more uncomfortable in all my life. And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe.
Considering the catalog of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was a particularly inauspicious end. Okay? If Alright, so the blood statements, to me, seems to be the thing that we need to look at. So what is contradictory? I don't see any bloody handprints in the crime scene photo, but I do see bloody handprints on the notice board. So let's present the notice board.
Objection!
So you wiped it off, wiped out the blood, and on the floor. Boom. Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else do you expect me to have done? It doesn't really matter.
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. Exactly as the defense asserted.
Objection!
You listen, you'll find out. Prosecutor Asogi. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found. Or... what are you trying to say? There was a handprint and blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board.
Oh, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. He's dead right. That's my right hand. I know it anyway.
Objection!
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. The handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
If the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Let's look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim, and in an upright position. Even if it had somehow toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body.
I fell over when I came across the body, so I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room.
In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is.
Huh?
There's a very definite contradiction here, which there must be a reason.
I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene?
I have, my lord. The discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by... The one that makes the most sense to me is that the board moved. Let's go. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down.
Good gracious. So it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the figures should be pointing upwards.
What does that tell us? tells one simple fact. Its handprint was made. The board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've had so far, you can now be very clear on one point.
That would be?
Position. The notice board at the time of the incident.
So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. The time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated?
Good question. The notice board was there, right? Good question. Let me think through this. So we have, like... Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. If he slipped... Yeah. Logically, it would have to be, like, right here.
Take that!
This is the only possible location.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway?
Court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier. It said that when he entered the room, it was dark. He couldn't see the body. Oh, yeah! If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view. The light from the candles had been blocked, and the room appeared darker.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me.
I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me, and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open.
You look again at the floor plan. Consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force.
That can't...
The door struck the notice board, knocking it open, making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious!
My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Ah!
Order! Order! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it. Into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room.
Witness, what have you to say for yourself? Me, my lord?
You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses on the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I'll get the message.
Mystery of the moving board.
I don't know anything about that notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all.
Don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life.
It was that Reaper. He's got a face that screams forward.
I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the and with the light of a few candles and an oil lamp to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account.
That's right, yeah. Don't pay to expect too much.
It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think.
Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. The gunshot rang out. The accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Barak van Zieks. None of us wrangling for the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances?
Most certainly, my lord.
Very well, then you may proceed, counsel.
Alright, the mystery of the moving. Alright.
Hold it!
So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on?
A minute, what's to admit? It's plain as day for all to see. A smashing print in my right hand.
Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint? So you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you?
No, imagine the weight of that great lump. I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man.
Well, see anybody else moving the board?
I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself was standing over it. There was precious little light inside either. The bottom lip was all a quiver.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony at that point.
Yes, so it would seem.
Okay. How about you?
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else? There's the priory school just round the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to kingdom come. So I've been telling them, letting their teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. And then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off of them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see?
What a racket.
Of course. Sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus thank you for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Now, telling bare-faced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm never so good at it.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? You know, when you're a witness in a trial, testifying that you are really, really good at lying probably isn't a great idea. It's a thought.
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar. That great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words supposed to be a lie too? Or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. It seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying. Are you?
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet innocent face, young lady.
So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Oh, blah, 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 I'm out there headed to the room where the gunshots seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there. Do you mean to say that you did, in fact, betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
Did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Well, revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? No firecrackers packed such a punch.
Well, you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now you come to mention it. I suppose perhaps. I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah? Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord, of course. I did sneak along beside Pond Gossip and have a little peek in the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
Make a habit of lying to you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. Really, no, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. Right? You did, in fact, go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know? Did you touch anything at the scene? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I'd look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write about. Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please.
Thought there might be something worth having underneath it. I blasted the flipping thing. So I flipped the blasted thing.
You're telling us you did move that board?
I think that did slip out, didn't it? You deaf bomb pop!
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell? Oh, please, I should be so lucky, in my imagination.
The truth, now.
Well, I found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. A bit of junk like this can't be worth much if you ask. Ah! So it was you, was it?
You're the one what took it.
Gina?
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there! That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he sold 10 years ago. Professor Case knew that. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Let's see. Swiped it off him once and blimey, he was upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. That meant the world to him, that watched it. I
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then. It's not all that, though. I took it to J-Bases that night and asked how much it was worth, but the old daddy wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. About worthless, he called it. I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Chance! I'll swipe it from you if I try to get you, we mix on it again.
That's enough. And the watch to the bailiff forthwith.
Now, children, watch your manners.
Good lord. The glass appears to be broken.
More than likely. Shattered when the inspector was shot. Doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why J-Base didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. Appears to have stopped at the hour of 5.
Exactly when the gunshot was heard. Supports the prosecution's claim, of course. Gregson's pocket watch has been added.
It would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved, at least.
As predicted, had very little bearing on the case.
Ugh. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Was that a red herring? I don't know. Just a bystander to me, just a sign of the crossroads of life. Okay? But you did go to see what happened in the room, didn't you?
Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I do know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high.
So you did go to see what had happened.
It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it?
You noticed the notice board in the room?
You think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the Cyan family. If I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it out of a sense of rivalry, I admit.
Someone really needs to tell you. You're Homo sapiens, not Homo sinians. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board?
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander. Me, just a sign at the crossroads of life. In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board?
Is that Reaper?
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, come on now, don't tell us you not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella.
On notice boards, they're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. Can't say I'd ever noticed.
I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off the man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second.
Sorry?
Well, I was that scared. I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do you?
If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board.
I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it. He'd had the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner.
Right. Glad we've cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma. Let's ask this guy what he has going on, shall we?
Hold it!
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it?
Maybe the notice board fell over. Maybe it did. Maybe I fell over. Maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate to seal out of the way because of that gunshot we all heard. Your fate sealed too.
My fate? That's right. The defense is fated to lose. The prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot.
to find some problem with that part of their story. It may be possible to change all our fates.
Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it?
Not much to go on. As you've pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma is right and it's not relevant to the case. It seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I have no doubt there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, I can feel it. But follow your instincts. Right then? Wait, shoot. His statement there. Let's look at Gregson's autopsy real quick. As he said, the detective died when we heard the gunshot. And the pocket watch. Oh, nice. The glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look. What a shame when the inspector really looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact. I only remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo. Not an odd-job man. But there's got to be more to this, right? What's this? Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole there. Can you see it? Oh yes, that probably is for the winder used to wind up the mechanism. Looks a little unusual. Yes, need just the right key to wind it, I imagine. Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in its hole. It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found. Uh-huh. What about the top here? There's a tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here, look. I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of his watch, it probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? Yes, of course. Which could mean that there is a small part of the watch still at the scene. Maybe. Yep. But we have the key. We know we do. This. Helmet of this charming policeman. And then... Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch? Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose. Here we go. Good. Perfect fit. Look! The inspector's watch has started going again. Ah, so it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mrs. Sato? Well, the watch isn't actually broken after all. I have a feeling it could have profound implications. It's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking, too. Alright. Alright. That's good to know. Is it actually ticking here in the picture? Oh, I thought it would be. That would be kind of cool. Okay, and let's read the autopsy. Tobias Gregson, age 25, nationality British. Victim was shot in the chest at close range from the front, resulting in instant death. Scorch marks at point of entry. The bullet exited the body from behind. Okay. Can we present this and see what happens?
Objection!
I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh, at the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. Key? Having wound the pocket watch, the
discovered that in fact still works. See, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which his entire case has been built. What?
Hold up. But, Counsel, the watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we had that gunshot. It is exactly the hour. The time it was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it went down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. That's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection!
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come into public. That he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him that watched it. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. You can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day. How do you explain it? Summary. The evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch.
You can't mean.
What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Oh.
Hold on. This is the most extraordinary claim.
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't the word, it's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? That subject, there's something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted. That's right.
Wait a minute, you're forgetting that my legs went out from under me when I kicked the door in.
What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean?
Like I said, I planted my hand in the dirty great bottle of blood.
Yes. But the victim's blood hadn't dried. It's fresh.
It catches on fast, doesn't it?
Objection!
But that blood could have been put there in any number of ways. Could have been put there after. Some fresh blood could have been poured into the victim's body after. Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available in every street corner? No, it needn't necessarily have been human blood. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So then, chicken's blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Objection!
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. Is it, though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realm of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh, please! What are you trying to say?
Was like now what we heard?
And it was a loud bang that came from that there room.
And you listen to me, a street seller's here is his livelihood.
You have a whip, dude. You are the... I don't doubt your ears, sir. All you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Hey? Explain yourself then, Counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with And here's the
Take
reason
that!
why we... I don't know. Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious, the very fireworks that are sold by the witness.
No, hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? A pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See? Not 100 of them together. Being a special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene. Suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day. Sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot. For those peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barack Van Zieks.
Only for matching my firecrackers go pop. See? That's why people like them.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection!
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb.
Oh, good heavens, a bomb?
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like. Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that you unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident. No, wait. It's the whenever you like part that's important. Timed device. Yes, exactly. A timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that the time device was employed to create the gunshot sound?
Great question. I'm trying to think of like what would be the thing that would suggest it. So the candle, maybe? That's what I just... It's like, okay. Hat was there. The gun, you know, was obviously there. The policeman, yeah. The only thing I can think of, because we know what Gregson's pocket watch is for. We know the firecracker. The only thing, it would be the candle. Let's see.
Take that!
As the court already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum has been blown up.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet, which presumably passed through the victim.
I don't think that's possible, Miller. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle.
There are? Goodness, yes. But is it not the case that there also was scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun. Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks. The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that Fireworks must have been right next to it when it exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. Ah, the culprit somehow attached the firecrackers at a point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candles slowly burnt down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud... That's where the bang came from. Interesting. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they'd heard a gunshot at fire.
Well, what a plot. And this implies that the victim would have died earlier than we've been led to believe, the previous day even.
Now,
just hold your horses. Oh, Lord, here saw the victim go into the building, remember? I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair, even if I wanted to.
the person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this.
Oh,
Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. But the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely, wearing the red hairpiece.
someone else? Do you mean to say?
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Oh, very impressive, Ryusuke. Someone? I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. After all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of a time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Ouch.
Ura! Prosecutor Asogi, what on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
What immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing? Where did he go the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard.
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend? I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating. Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
Take that!
I can't say that I find your answer suggestive of anything in particular, other than perhaps that it is utterly wrong, which you have clarified most expertly.
What? Congratulations. You deserve a reward for that expert display. Wait, it is? What about the... Did you just draw Karumi on me, my friend? I think, Mr. Naruhodo, that there's one particular piece of evidence that really does stand out in showing what case Inspector Grayson was investigating. Oh, the red hair, red-headed league. Gotcha.
My lord, I have the answer now.
Very well, Counsel. Present your argument to the court.
It's the Red-Headed League. Yeah.
Take that!
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. You might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairface only served to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
So, we already worked it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
Extraordinary League of Gentlemen. The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for grand deception.
What deception of what nature, Counsel?
They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once.
2 redheads?
Judge phobic against redheads or something? Red-headed phobia? Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. So it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. It's quite possible that such a contact led to serious events.
Surely we cannot in good counsel. I'll just leave this new avenue explored.
Well done, Mr. Naruto. Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us, at least.
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 Red-Headed League conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asugi.
At once, my lord.
Very good. We'll have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.
Okay. That's the first break. Interesting. Alright, saving current progress. Let's do it. Okay. Saved. And let's go. Next part. The 2nd November, 12:33 p.m. Santa. Oh, there you are, Odell. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Gina. You sure about what you said, Nay? The boss, you know, actually died the day before. It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by that revelation too, you know. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes. But I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death note. I suppose that's the simplest. Perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear, if it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on. And Dr. Scythe. Didn't she have like this weird gas mask girl who like called her mom or something like that? You know, something like that? Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Van Zieks discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with... Come to think of it... You had trouble with these League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No, no, no! Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly 4-pound scent masks the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday. Mr. Sholmes is sweet, I mean. That's right, Suze, and it was me what took him in. Thanks to a tip up by a good, law-abiding citizen. Indeed. Yours truly. Going to be that pair in the stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the redheaded. Had you? How would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly 4-pound income. Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zieks for some reason. Paper, Red-Headed League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zieks, and Cosimo. I feel as though we'd arrived at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This recess will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Cosimo was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial. And he was determined that I should go take the defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see? I wonder. I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Yeah, that would probably be a pretty good guess. You ready then, Mr. Sato? Yes. November, 1 p.m. Old Bailey, Portrait.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Zieks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asaki, my lord. You summon the witnesses as requested.
Yes, 2 members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage.
Very good. Bailiff, usher the 2 men into the courtroom.
These 2 men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may admit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabien de Rousseau. A descendant of the great Rousseau family from Nice, in France.
My name is Peppino de Rossi.
Are you supposed to be... Oh, okay. It's Italian. I am the 3rd son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The 2 men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. Those who graduate from Temsik are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alas, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do. Oh. So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? You could say that. Not bad, He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. This strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. See, couple? Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Che, what you about to tell me one of your grand anecdotes? Evviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, you're not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Cibello, there it is, the capo's trump card, the furrowed brow. It is deep, capo, the furrow, and the meaning of your words.
The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true?
Oui, c'est ça.
And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud?
I don't know. I will explain it. No, capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have to do it with here, no? It's cool, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here, he was many times behind the schoolhouse crying like the Trevi fountain. We, so the dogs, one day was a world we respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his apparel. Scipion Peppino, enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper. London. We saw that notice. It's this one. Titled To the Red-Headed League. Oh wait, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it. States that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair. And if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at this park specified in the advertisement. And from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with this money to France, it was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody would be foolish enough to be taken in by such an honest trick. Park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, Foster's orange barrow. The day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Oh wait, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now every time I see the capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, none of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph.
Very good. So, Mr. DeRosso, Mr. DeRossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court. And on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph.
Of course. You're always ready to help with Sila. Okay. The photograph. Yeah, the more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on the Lime Street. I don't recall But I don't recall the man in this photograph. I capo. No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Hello. This victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Pepino. It is your fault that we caught in the first place. You've given sworn testimony. This man in the photograph was present. Can you be certain? Wait. I am quite certain. Nobody looking like it is came to the park, I can promise.
Must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
Oof. This attitude. We get to nowhere, huh? He's really a sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary, dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, ready to leave, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, That is ridiculous. Question that the Gregson was investigating the red-headed league. Means it's quite possible that's when he was killed.
Very well. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination now.
Yes, my lord. Man in the photograph. At more than 1,000 the people assemble in the park on Lime Street that day.
Hold it!
1,000 people? That's a very big crowd. It was quite the spectacle. Redheads had come from all over the capital. See, the couple here, he has the magnetismo animale. Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the couple. All those people wonder what's the money, Pepino, before Pumpster.
Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants?
Oh, oui, that we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names and we take their money, and we take their addresses as well. Then I tell them we take some days to let them know by a post, if we need to. Maybe 2 minutes a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night. So, you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? A small fortune. Who would have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. But I don't recall the man in this photograph, capo? No, I don't remember him, and obviously he is dead now, but I assure you he was not in the park. Allora, this victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Pepino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. You haven't told us much we didn't already know. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? If it wasn't his diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street. Yeah, these two both claim they didn't see him. I have to say, they don't appear to be telling lies. Well, they are experts in deception. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well. Surely if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught. Oh yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information. Definitely. Let's see.
Hold it!
Call the man in. He doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. This is a weird guy. He was trying to trick us. I don't like the people who are trying to trick the other people, says the con artist. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it'd be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. No, signore. I may be small, but my memory is very large and never forget a thing. And my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems. Capo, you didn't see Lyman like this, huh?
Hold it!
No. But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oh wait, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe then we would recall. That is not the line, baby, no? Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? If there was a man with a red piece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him. Husband said these two had only been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one other detail about the exam? It's fish and chips? I don't know. His name, Tobias Gregson, whatever. His profession, he introduced himself as a detective. That would be notable. So let's do that. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man in red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? The man in his autograph, a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Wait a minute.
Excuse me!
Need to add Mr. DeRossi. See, I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh, what did he just say? About the detective? That. You can shut Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What?
Good lord. Ora. Explain this, right, senor testimony witness.
He's simple. The man that was at the park there was no such man. My God, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta. You beat me at many things, but not to the memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up.
Objection!
Oh. The damage is done. Indeed it is, sir.
There was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, is the truth, The man who came was a younger. His face was clean shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, "You are really a detective, show us the proof." See, the capo here. He doesn't take no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? I mean, actual police inspector's identification?
That is most unconvincing.
Finally?
Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question.
Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake. Perfecto, Capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another. What happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, "You are under investigation." So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastic. And look, here is the identification. So you stole it from the man? Yeah, they're coming. He made us very scared.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence.
But I like them. The inspector's identification has been entered into the court record.
Now, let us return to the witness's testimony.
Okay. That's something. Let's see. Metropolitan Police warrant card. Let's look at it. I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Okay, there was not a picture in there. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? Scotland Yard insignia. It's genuine. But how? The department and identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? You mean to say? I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book made by Scotland Yard. That's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? Right. Wow. Hey. It's a victim. You know, that is obviously whole, right?
Hold it!
Let's see. I only have your word for that. See, but what else can we do, huh? True. Oof, we are not having much of fun these days. First we are arrested, then we are shown the horrible picture of a dead man. Now you question every single thing we say. We are the victims here. Aye, capo. No, you were caught carrying out a plot to swindle hundreds of innocent people. Humph, you had to bring that up, it's not fair. Aye, capo. Huh? Your fault, we go. Alright, this thing where he said the victim has nothing to do with us, this is... I think we got him on this one.
Objection!
I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. Why Miss Lestrade?
What is your intention here, Counsel?
Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question. Which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection!
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. That is the boss's. No question about it. Can't be. I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Brotherhood League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation.
Zutalo! Ora! Ora!
But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, I'd say. Could it be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it? What are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting
Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification card stolen. No.
Ora!
The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, in a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that?
We, I know nothing, we, I know done nothing, we.
Pull yourself together, Peppino.
Come on, dude. You could behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no? Ooh, now I wish I had returned to Italia. Oh, yeah. Stop crying, Peppino, please, otherwise
Look, mate, stop your whining and start talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story and consider the greater detail. I know nothing, we, I don't know nothing. Oh, we.
But you will tell everything. At least the worst possible outcome.
Well, dry your eyes and testify again. About the identification papers and the precise circumstances under by which you came them. Ooh, wee.
The detective and the identification.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in a room in the next 2 hours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm. And the next morning we let him go. We spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like prison. Ooh, yeah. This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man.
No. See, no, it was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. Hi, Capo.
It was never part of my plan. I swear it.
Ooh, so do you think it was my fault, Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong? By one a little day. I think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Por favor, Capo. It's not fair.
We had plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oh, I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
On the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this Paris hideout. Interesting. Plot is thickening rapidly. Detective and the identification. Right. I'm gonna take a real quick break and I'll be right back.
back. Let's press. This particular piece of new information. Let's see what we can find out.
Hold it!
Do you realize what you're saying? You have to believe me. Never intended for that to happen. Sure, the detective did not intend it either. You think? But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This wasn't the first crime for the couple. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, it does not really describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? Old empty house behind the park on 9th Street. We rented the place for 2 days. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the couple here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive, inspired, I couple.
You're supposed to say to that, Peppino.
It was in the house described that you can find Inspector Gregson, was it? But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not the real inspector. It doesn't quite add up, though. I didn't think the man was a real inspector. There would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? No, you are right, but we couldn't be completely certain. Same. Detective was too scared.
Hold it!
Let's see. Too scared. Why? Because they had come to the park. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even if we just are feigning to be an inspector. He was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt. I think most people would. But it's you two who were up to no good. Well, see, you may be right. Aye, Capo. The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. Yeah, see, I ask myself the same question. You are writing down the names and addresses of all the people who took 5 shillings from the pay. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address it stopped at. CC, address, Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said. What? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude. I just politely asked him why he said it. That's when he started to say he wasn't the inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. Was Inspector Gregson playing it? Tell the court what happened next. Took him back to your hideout, he said. See, we did. I took the man's identification from him and shut him in. It's okay.
Hold it!
That being this identification book here, correct? See, that is the one.
Made you believe that it was a forgery.
I never seen the real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, must be false. I got it. It is just as Peppino has said. We were convinced it was not genuine. And so, together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. We did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transport all of the money. For a penny and for a pound. That might have been possible.
Hold it!
What do you mean by a little tinsel exactly? Boof. It was nothing. Just a minor incident. Also, Inspector, he was a real piece of work. Hey, Capo, what happened?
Oof, it was a disaster. He gave him a nicer room, and what does he do, huh? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? Chased him, bien sûr. They caught him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you? So, who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply got hold of him again and took him back to his little room. Excuse me! Mr. DeRossi, is something wrong? Me? Something Mr. DeRusso said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What's that all about? Come on, times like that, you don't want to have the capo after you, believe me. I speak from a personal experience. Personal experience? That's enough, Peppino. There's no need to say more. Truth is, the night before we put the Red-Headed League plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away. Shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like a turbine, huh? He dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, huh, capo?
Bruises, you say?
Hey, you wanna see, huh? You wanna see my fantastical bruises? Wait a minute, he has it around his neck and the... Wait! The... Gossip guy has that too! That's enough now. No one looks any positive. What to do, huh? I show you or I don't. I show you or I don't. Do, now. Hello, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Echo, you see? He's still very visible, eh? That red ring around you. Got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo, sometimes he is very rough. I said that's enough. Pino's neck is nothing to do with what we are talking about. Yeah, you have my word.
Yes. What is your opinion, Counsel?
About this red ring around Mr. Rossi's neck? Does it matter? Oh, it's important. Rossi, I'm gonna have to ask you to amend your testimony. Details about that mark on your... Hey, Capo, you see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh?
Very well. You will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. Rossi.
See, if you really want to know. Escape. But wait a minute. So nothing like prison.
Hold it!
Okay. You took away the man's freedom. However comfortable you make it sound, you were still holding him prisoner. You say that, then I say it is. There is something that takes away our freedom too. The lack of money. So we are the prisoners as well, huh? All of us. Huh? No money, no freedom, this is the truth. That makes me mad. And it makes me sad. What can we do? Well... If you feel so disenfranchised, take money to court. Though it'll cost you, of course. Ooh, there you have it. You see? That is why we need the Red-Headed League. Fight for the justice. Here's a point. No, Mr. Naruhodo. All we did was to give the man a comfortable place to sleep for the night. You say it was a prison, huh? Huh? Perhaps he has a point again. No, again, Mr. Naruhodo. You should have heard him snoring. Like that. If anyone was disturbed, it was us. Much to go on, really. No, there's a lot to go on. Your testimony does make me wonder, you know? About this pocket watch belonging to the inspector, I mean? Yes, the one he treasured somewhere. He was confined but not restrained, as the witnesses are implying. But still have been able to find his watch. That's very true, yes. So did Inspector Gregson actually die while he was being held captive by these redheads? In which case, is it possible that these two young men are responsible for Inspector Gregson's... To be honest, I find that hard to believe. Perhaps we should try to find out exactly what happened. Very wise, Mr. Nokoto. Yes. So here's the thing. Clearly, Gregson doesn't have that on his neck. So,
Objection!
there's the problem. The day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito.
No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only.
However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains.
What inconsistency is this, Counsel?
I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of Inspector Gregson. You'll see that there is no red ring visible around his neck.
But that makes no sense. It was me who took the kolale of the man in the morning.
I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. The mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck. We'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. DeRossi.
Indeed, that is most peculiar.
But what do we tell you, huh? Say this from the beginning. Many times, Peppino is right. The man is he is someone different to the man we held captives at night.
Yeah? So it's the imposter.
Ora!
It's, the gossip. It would appear, then, that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection!
That's true, however. How do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. Prosecution made that assertion itself. We also know that the inspector had made a note about the red-headed leak in his diary for that day. It surely means you can't divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. Really, with the real Inspector Gregson, when these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation.
Equally, they actually encountered an imposter. How did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification?
Does the defense have some plausible explanation, Counsel?
Nothing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions. Keep meticulous notes on the court record, Mr. Narwhal. I already know who it is. You don't have to... Facts. Facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible. It's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record.
Good gracious.
Very tantalizing, Mr. Narwhal. Why don't you help us all see whatever truth it is currently seen? Who exactly was this inspector who appeared with Mr. DeRosa and Mr. DeRossi? It's an imposter. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument has been a waste of time.
Objection!
On the contrary, I haven't finished. But there's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification?
See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the couple dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog Colale. Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say, huh? Was that the falso inspector, eh? Who was it?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night.
I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witness encounter in the park, posing Inspector Gregson?
The guy who has a collar around his neck, or collar mark?
Take that!
Goodness me, isn't that...
Though the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom are... Nameless man whose occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to pass.
Objection!
On earth would a street seller be doing this inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not? What's happened to his lip? Ah. See, this man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no? Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, bite your lip instead. Seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, he noted something. Man's neck. Red ring of bruising. What? Defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Here we go.
Order! Order! Bailiff, bring the aforementioned witness back in the courtroom immediately.
Here we go.
Well, I never. Undeniable ring of bruising indeed. Identical. That of the witness beside him.
Now, what's going on here, eh? Well, he's had this me. It's a birthmark, isn't it?
Birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you.
Oh, somewhat about unexpected again, but I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it?
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, I'm going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate. Do we have any choice?
You're in the big trouble, like Apple.
That's quite enough of dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony.
Inspector and the identification. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. Right, to see, you would think, forget these grand lips, huh?
I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I'm no interested in the Red-Headed League. I'm all alone in the world with me. I'm no kinfolk or nothing. How would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I can carry off a disguise with a face like this?
Would certainly appear that we have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you, huh? There was no need for this pointless testimony.
That's right, I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I come by a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Oh, yes, that's hard to explain.
Brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief.
Is there anyone in this courtroom? Guess I might be onto something? Stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo. Inspector and the identification revisited. Okay.
Hold it!
Start pressing. So you say, but how can you be quite so certain?
There isn't need to urge hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no?
Because I have never before seen lips like this. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. It looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar.
Mon Dieu, with your words, it is like you tried to wring my neck. Does it look very much like my neck, though, eh?
No, this is a birthmark, lad.
The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Aye, they broke the mold when they made me. It's the first time in my life. I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London.
You maintain that you've never seen this man.
Oh oui, Professor, I swear to it by the flames of my hair.
So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with her now, has it?
Is that right to see?
Oh yeah. Press it.
Hold it!
Yeah, so don't imagine I'll get those lips in a hurry either.
That is what I am saying. For some reason it makes me want to eat, how did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know? I've never seen the hair as black as yours before either.
Likewise, I've never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
See, maybe he is a national literate, huh? Maybe all people from this man's country have the grand lips.
No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street. I've never left.
Oof, that is the problem, see?
So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip?
How many times do you want to say it, eh?
Never leave Fresno Street, alright? No interest in the Red-Headed League.
Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh?
My business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got a sandwich to go for it.
Oh, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows?
But as you can see, my own hair's got a hint of red in it.
In any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sailing off to some other part of town.
No, sir, not likely.
Oh,
Excuse me!
Mr. DeRosa.
Oui, can I help you?
Did Mr. Gossip's word just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps?
It was the other day, when I was looking for a place in the park, a small house or something.
Be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes.
I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What?
Mr. Gossip, the housing agent?
Oui, he had some kind of contract in his, and they were clearly discussing terms.
No, you're mistaken, chum. Never left Fresno Street, mate, like I said before.
You're mistaking me for someone else. Someone with the same face. Oh no, the capo was right, I remember it too. He was paying the man with the bank notes.
With notes?
Like I said, that was me.
I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
What name was written? Mr. Gossip?
No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, huh? He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? Oh my gosh.
No! I love tidbits and information, like I said. Fresno Street, no sight. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life. Indeed, and it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. But very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. All mentioned names shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objections.
Objection!
Yeah. Sorry, my lord. Defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Good gracious, do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asagi?
It happens, my lord. That particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Well, I never. In what capacity?
The leaseholder of the room. To put this very simply, the victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case, eh?
Oh, really? He's just gonna admit it? Doubt it. So your real name is Hugh Boone?
Just between ours, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So what? I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a fallen down back street townhouse.
You do?
Once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. Oh, I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
Aye, if I there of us is the vulgar, it's not the me. Think again, Pepin. Didn't you bring this up before?
Like I told you already, I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss. We'll update your testimony to include the most surprising revelation. Soon. I must.
Leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for him since the body was discovered. Has been here under our noses all along.
The room where the fellow was found, it's true. What difference it makes.
Hold it!
So, you live in that room, presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? It's a desk.
And why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Huh? You know about the notice board there, which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents the police should have had access to.
No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. Tell her the other bits and bobs that belong to me, the desk and the chair and that.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room?
Well, obviously, I have not the faintest idea. Maine is causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
It seems to me that Mr. Mr. Boone, rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason. Yes, it does come across that way. More importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that's really bothering me now. Oh, I'm finally going to do this, man. Okay.
All alone, well, me and no kinfolk or nothing. I ought to be involved in something like that.
Yeah. His wife's picture. That's it. Let's finish pressing and then we'll present that there. Alright. Because it's family, right? Yeah. So this guy has to be, is it Daily Vigil? Yeah. So, yeah. Because Gregson didn't have any connection to this woman. So it had to be him. Thus, he is Daily Vigil. Because, like, I've been wondering for a while why that whole connection with the guy who was missing got brought up. That had to be it. I mean, you have no family?
Nope, not at all. So I spend my days on Fresno Street peddling tidbits to passers-by.
Hoping, just between us, to see is that eventually someone else with lips like mine will come along. I don't think so.
You might be right.
Anyway, that mark on your neck is just too much of a coincidence for us to ignore.
Well, what's the feather to do that, eh? If you don't believe me, we're at an impasse. And there's nothing I can do but flick me lip.
Looks like I'm not going to get anywhere here unless I can produce some proof.
You're basically saying I got dressed up and posed as some fancy inspector, aren't you? Well, it's beyond me how you could think I could do that.
Yeah, that one's a little confusing to me too.
Hold it!
Maybe you could say with a mustache or a beard to cover up that lip.
Perhaps. But if I was going to stick some fake facial hair on to cover up this fine specimen, I'd end up looking like his lordship over there, wouldn't I? Pardon? I assure you my lips are entirely unremarkable. And I would ask you not to cast such scrutinizing looks in my direction, Counsel.
Sorry, my lord. Imagination got the better of me there. Oh, Inspector Gregson did wear a mustache, of course. You're right, he did, so perhaps he was hiding something himself. He could barely have hidden a crumb in a mustache of that size.
And anyways, the detective's book was had no facial hair at all. See, the capo is right. He was a clean-shaven. Certainly seems beyond the realms of possibility that this witness could have disguised himself as the victim. Oh, it does, and it is.
So yeah, it's the family picture. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, what Mr. Boone says is undeniable. It would be all but impossible to hide those lips within a form of disguise. Perhaps yes, but nevertheless, the mark around his neck is equally undeniable, and it's identical to the one that Mr. DeRossi suffered. Yes, that's true. Why does this whole disguise idea keep playing on my mind? So, I'm all alone in the world. Wait,
Hold it!
no, Russ. I'm going to present. Yeah.
Objection!
If you have no kinfolk, as you put it. And explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph in the room.
Ah!
I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not?
Oh, well...
Mr. Boone, drop the pretense, and tell the court exactly who you really are.
I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. Keep down yourself. Really don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone.
As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
Unless this is a big disguise too. What if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean?
Yes, Counsel, what do you mean?
Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. Consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of elaborate disguise. And hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone? Oh! Yeah, he's daily vigil.
Good witness. Are you still hiding the truth from this court?
If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, the defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
No, please.
No.
Very well done, Counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the streets?
There he is. Huh. Different look for sure. But I can tell from, like, yeah. Definitely...
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil.
I don't recall that name, Counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. A young gentlewoman who came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact. This is Mrs. Vigil.
What?
What I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two Red-Headed League men. Last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial, because we were led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you. And that explains why you've not been able to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you in the Vigil residence.
Now, just you hold on a minute. I don't have the first idea.
What I'm talking about? Really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise.
No, please. Bailiff, bring soap, a sponge, and a wash bowl at once. Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi, you will restrain the witness. Oui, my lord. Si, my lord. No, stop! Get off, please! Don't!
Yep.
Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume.
Oh, where'd he get his outfit? Lift your head, sir. Court can see your face.
It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So, witnesses, tell the court. Have you seen this man before?
I don't believe it, but... See? That isn't the question. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary.
Oh. On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, a man claiming to be Inspector Gregson who appeared before Mr. DeRosa and Mr. DeRossi in the park was you, disguised as the inspector. Rather, was you posing as the inspector and no disguise at all. Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Berkeley Prison.
The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street?
No, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years?
I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I'm Daily Vigil.
You were the chief warder at Berkeley Prison 10 years ago? So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from?
Boone is the other me. Name I invented. Well, evidently, there is a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Berkeley's chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. The times were hard in London. I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street.
But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Berkeley Prison.
I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street.
The scene of the very crime we're investigating.
Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. It quickly became my daily routine.
They make so much money to keep up their lavish lifestyle. It's puzzled. That explains it.
Why on
on earth didn't you just tell us in the first place? I have a wife, sir. 2 sons. Without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I bring myself to disappointment. Instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you can sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you commanded as chief warder in the prison.
Very true. You have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
Yeah, what's that about? All thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth?
It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. The inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. That day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him.
Secret? What was it?
I was to impersonate the inspector.
What?
Impersonate him. I always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orxie's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietors. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. Those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people wouldn't believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression. Let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. Those services, he compensated me financially. Scotland Yard Inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That, as I'm sure need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense.
But why? What was the point of you impersonating him?
I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I'll need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if I end up a crook. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the... Well, it became something of a second office for him.
So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really...
Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my Boone disguise, instructed, armed with the inspector's identification book. Never occurred to me, a bruise on my neck might give me away.
Quite a story.
It seemed this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Huh? Explain yourself, Prosecutor Asogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed in another location the day before his corpse was discovered. At the hands of these 2 reddited league men when they imprisoned the inspector. No, that can't be. But after all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me. Goodness.
Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Defense, for proving it.
Ah! Ora, ora! Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Wait.
Hold it!
Who said hello? Pardon me, my lord. With your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness.
What question, counsel?
It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution carried out at the time.
10 years ago?
The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. I want to know exactly what you involved in this.
Oh, answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case?
Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked.
Does the defense concur, counsel?
Kazuma, not yourself. You're not as calm and collected as you. For Kazuma-sama, no wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments. His own father. I know. I do understand that. Even so...
Prosecutor Asogi.
Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. The defense has no objection.
I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness.
The truth is, I remember very little of that time.
You've forgotten?
Sorry to say, yes.
As I said, I resigned from my role at the position 10 years ago.
But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? No, 10 years ago was a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job. Yes, you're right. And not only that... Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. Yeah, he said he left the position, but the card says he was fired. The human spirit is a fragile thing, broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up in protection.
Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean.
We experience pain and suffering. We feel unable to bear. We block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. When they do, the fragile spirit may finally be crushed.
But I really don't...
But if it must be crushed, then so be it. Because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out, one way or another. Right. Now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, might cause some crucial memories to return to him. Should I? Should I present the evidence or not?
Do it!
I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law. I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events. The dismissal notice.
Take that!
Woot! Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, the claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. Dismissal notice? The name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine? So you didn't resign prison service at all? For some reason, were dismissed as chief warder from... No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Is it? If you were forcibly dismissed, I understood that reason. Clearly did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution supervised was on the 17th of June, 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. 17th of June? Was that Professor's execution? Oh, Professor? You were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason. You would have been present throughout the proceedings. Does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. Convict came back to life. Cemetery in the middle of the night. Was a witness. However, the witness claims that after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder. The bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. This may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th of June, 10 years ago, and now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? Yes, the whole prison. It's complete chaos. Prisoner escaped. Was killed. Cemetery. Shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? What? But if he escaped, how'd he end up in a grave climbing out of it?
Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. Vigil, that your memory's the time of return?
My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, screams. Oh my goodness. Papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, in October.
But surely those reports were exaggerated.
There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? Locate cemetery at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible happened there.
The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering.
I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And and the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of prison staff must have been...
Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom?
Yes,
Yes, and I was suspected of doing it, using that mass murder as execution way to help him escape.
did what?
I remember now. The horror of it all was coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came back to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. Sorry, Daly. This is a serious business, but I can't help you now. As Chief Warder, you are responsible for overseeing the execution of RA. It seems the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. Better pack your things, Lenny. You to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew,
Yes, sir. Most hated killer in our country's history.
let him escape and finished my life. It's over. Order! Bailiff! Put your doctor at once. Court is adjourned for the day with immediate effect.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zieks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson.
Let's pronounce Zieks. I've been saying it wrong this entire game series. Alright, that's fine.
All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
To be continued. Alright, perfect. So, this is like... there's more to the trial, right? Interesting. Well, this is a good place to stop, for sure. So, we're going to call it. Alright, see you all again next weekend. For more It Is Eternal. This is trial part 1. Alright, anyway, see ya.